Hey folks, this is Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge. I got a comment recently on one of my videos telling me to stop faking how happy I am. Well, I am naturally this happy. Just ask my wife or any of my family members. I do have a lot of challenges that I face in my life, but I'm a happy guy. I take things pretty easy, take them as they come, keep moving forward. It's just the way I am. If you like that, great. If you don't like that, go watch a grump. Who wants to watch a grump? Not me. Today we're taking a look at the Tangram. In Spanish, I guess you would say amarillo. In English, it looks like amarillo. This is a smaller knife, almost 3 inches, a little bit shorter than 3 inches, but getting close. Smaller handle. This is a good choice if you're looking for a small knife to carry with you. Maybe a secondary carry, maybe someplace, where you want to keep it nice and small, maybe for an office where you want something that doesn't look quite as threatening. And size does affect how threatening things look to some sheeple. But there you go. Before I get into this, I want to talk about this for just a second. This is the HX Outdoors EDC-027A, not ZD-027A. EDC-027A. It's a slip joint. It's a HX Outdoors has been making this knife in cooperation with Reich. Reich has it as the Thor 3, and HX Outdoors has got a number of versions of these. I had a small one like this that was a frame lock. This is a slip joint friction folder type knife, and I don't want to review it unless I can find a place that you guys can buy it. I don't even remember how I got this. So if you can find any place that is currently selling and having in stock the HX Outdoors EDC-027A, let me know in the comment section below. You can even leave a link. It looked like it is not getting posted. It looked like, there's a problem with your comment, but rest assured, I get notified of all the comments that have links in them, and then I will manually approve it. And I will thank you very much if you show me a place that sells this, because if it's currently being sold, then I'm happy to do a review of it. And if you're interested in it, let me know. But for now, we're taking a look at this. It's got that typical brown color that a lot of the Tangram knives have. And Tangram is the budget line by Kaiser Knives. So if you like Kaiser knives, you're probably going to like this. I've reviewed all of the other Tangram knives that have been out. If there's something new coming out in 2019, I haven't reviewed it yet. But these are all the 2018 and older knives. I've got reviews of all those Tangram knives in my channel, and you can find them. And I even got a Tangram playlist. So without any further ado, let's get to the tabletop and take a close look at this tiny little Bowie folder under 3 inches. So here it is, the nice little guy. First off, a little bit for measurements. My hands are large, bordering on extra large, between 10 and 11 in European sizes. I know I say that often, but for newcomers, they need to know that. So this knife is a knife that fits a lot of hand sizes. If you've got medium or small men's hands, 9 or smaller on the European sizes, this thing will fill the hand quite well. If you've got extra large hands, like big 11 or larger size hands in the European size, this knife is going to be very small in your hands. That might be what you're looking for. Who knows? I just wanted to give you a good reference point. What we've got is a full flat grind on an Akuto 440. That's a Japanese stainless steel. It's not the same as the 440 series of American steels like 440, 440A, 440B, 440C. It's not in that series. Even in that series, 440A, 440B are, okay. 440C is actually a good steel. This is, in my opinion, a little bit better than 440C. It's got a durable kind of edge retention. It's not terribly hard to sharpen. And, it's very functional, easy to use. Stonewash finish on here. We've got designer is Azo, A-Z-O. So if you're interested in that, we've got G10 handle scales. I think it comes in black and in this brown. And this brown is like a caramel color, like if you've got those cube-shaped caramel candies where you live. This is very much that color, maybe a little bit darker. All right, we've got pocket clip that's deep carry, right and left. A lanyard hole back here. The liners are lightly skeletonized stainless steel liners. We've got ball bearings. We've got a detent that's very good. Holds quite well. And it's a very well-made knife. If you just want the long and the short of it, this thing comes with a very high recommend from me. But, hitting the camera, sorry about that. But I want to give you all of the details as well. So let's start off covering the general stuff even a little bit more than I've done. The lockup here is very good. There's no blade play, side to side, up and down. Your blade shape is a clip point or Bowie style. This is actually got a little bit of a negative radius to it right here. It's not just a straight line. We've got a lot of belly here in a good straight section. Full flat grind all the way up to the spine of the blade. Very good sharpness choil here. The flipper tab, functions as a guard over here. It's got just a little bit of jimping on it right there. Maybe if I take my hand away from some of that light, there you go. You can see some of that jimping there. Here you can see the lockup fairly well. You can even see the detent ball in that shot. There's very little skeletonizing. You can see those 4 holes right there in the bottommost liner, and that's all there is. But I'll give you a good shot of the insides of the knife in a few minutes. The pocket clip is one of those fold-over pocket clips. Open pillar construction, and so we've got these hourglass-shaped pillars or posts. Good hardware. What I really like is the main hardware needed to take this knife apart. It's T8 screws, a T8 here, and it's a non-rotating pivot pin, so it does lock in place. So you do have to be careful. If you're not getting any rotation from one of these screws, stop. Try the other one because one of them won't turn at all. So really easy to get this thing apart. We've got nice chamfering on the G10, just a little bit, and the G10's got a good texture on it. The shape of the handle here provides a very good grip in hand. This not forward choil, this main choil for your index finger. And then we've got a divider, and the rest of your hand comes in here. It's got a nice curve to it. It fits into the palm of the hand very well. Very, very comfortable for my hand, at least. I like it quite a lot that way. Very secure. My pinky hangs over the end a little bit. Let's see if I can show you this way. But it's just sort of off the edge there a tiny bit. So it's made very, very well for fitting into, I think, most people's hands. There's no jimping anywhere else other than on that back of that flipper tab. And with this detent working very well, the light switch method, pulling straight back, you don't have to pull much at all, and it comes flying out. And the push down method, where I'm pushing just at a slight angle back, it just flies right out. Now let's take this thing apart and show you the insides. Now, did you notice that last picture that has the liner and it shows the little bit of a trench that's been milled into the liner where the ball bearings run? That is an awesome feature. You never see that on knives this price except for these Tangram knives. And what that does is it provides less friction for the ball bearings to spin. If you tighten it up with more pressure, you still have less friction for the surface area that contacts between the ball bearings and the blade, and the ball bearings and the liner. The blade itself has got that same trench milled into it that the liners do. A very nice touch. That's a premium touch at a budget price. And we'll talk about the price after we've done the dimensions and everything. Okay, $32 US. And I'll give you more details on that later on. Very well made. I like that there's not too much printing all over the knife, but there is, a fair amount. It says Tangram, that's the brand name right there. And the words right here, Japan Akudo or JPN Akudo, and then the model number. Okay, and on this side, it says Azo for the designer up on the ricasso there, and here it says Amarillo. And, that's all there is to this knife. I've still not found my measuring tape to tell you when I'm doing my measurements, so I'll use this little graphic. When that's on here, that means I'm giving you measurements, so if you want to skip past it, when you see this take off and leave, it's time to start watching again. So what do we have? A 71-gram knife is what we have, 2.45 ounces. The cutting edge sharpness from the factory, it's 180, and it might have been a little bit better, but I used the knife a little bit before I took that measurement. I should have taken the measurement straight out of the box. As soon as you start using an edge, it starts to dull, so it's at least a 180. 200 is very sharp, and everything smaller than that is better. So good from the factory. Now for the dimensions, the cutting edge length is 7.08 centimeters, 2.79 inches. The blade length, so tip to the closest spot on the handle, 6.95 centimeters, 2.74 inches. So that's a little bit less, and that's because, the handle sweeps back, and so the cutting edge can come back further. The blade thickness, whoops, I should tape that down or something. The blade thickness, it's thickest right up here by the ricasso, and that is 2.51 millimeters, which is 0.0995 of an inch. The blade depth this way, 2.04 centimeters, that's 0.8 of an inch. The thickness of the edge right behind the grind is 0.45 millimeters, which is 0.0175 inches. So it's a tiny bit thinner than what I recommend for knives of this style, but being a smaller knife, it can certainly handle this thinner edge, especially having a better grade steel than a lot of budget knives are made with. It can handle being this thin, no problem at all. The grind angle, so that's the final grind angle just at the very edge, 18 degrees on this side, and on this side it's 21.1. So that's very good. I generally like 20 degrees per side, so not bad at all. When I go to sharpen this, that's what I'll give it, 20 degrees per side. And I'll give you some pictures of the cutting edge, how the cutting edge looks right now. So the factory edge is actually quite good. I know that looks a little rough on that zoomed in close-up, but really that factory edge is done very well. Time to give the specs on the handle. The handle length is 9.12 centimeters. That's 3.59 inches. The grip area in here, 7.52 centimeters, 2.96 inches, basically 3 inches. The handle thickness, not counting the pocket clip, is 1.11 centimeters. That's 0.438. So a lot of EDC knives are 0.5, so this is just a little bit smaller. The handle depth, that's this dimension right here, 2.27 centimeters, 0.89 of an inch. And when the knife is closed, the widest part of the blade, or the whole knife, not counting the flipper tab, is 1 inch, 2.54 centimeters. And, oh, I forgot to put the inch measurement on. The total length of this knife is 16.1 centimeters, and in inches, it's right here, what that is. So there you go. That is the specs on the knife. The price at Amazon.com, and that's the only Amazon site I found this at, Amazon.com, $32. Other vendors, I might have some links down below, but if you buy from Amazon, I do get a tiny bit of a commission. It's a great way that you can support the channel. The price is $32 US is roughly 43 Canadian, 28.5 euros, or 24.75 British pounds, and those are all rounded to the nearest 0.25 of that, whatever unit of currency that is. Fit and finish on this knife. Awesome. The fit and finish on this thing is very, very good. I've had a lot of knives that have the final grind that's much worse, so that's not a complaint. The sharpener's choil is the perfect size. It couldn't be any smaller without it becoming a problem. And any bigger, well, it doesn't need to be any bigger. So it's just perfect, ending right at the end of the plunge right there. The grip in the hand is very good. No blade play, like I said, up, down, side to side. Very, very easy. The blade centering is almost perfect. Can you get better than that? Well, here, let's do a close-up of it. The blade centering is very, very good indeed. Very good knife. I like the stonewash on the blade. I always like stonewash best anyways because it hides minor scratches that you get on the knife. So if you're like me and you like to use your knives, you're going to scratch up the main bevel eventually. And stonewash hides a lot of those kind of scratches. So I do like stonewash. I already talked about the sharpener's choil. We've got a pocket clip that is right and left and very deep. So that's a good thing. We've got a lightweight. We've got very good grip in the hand. Pocket retention is awesome. Well, I've mentioned the pocket enough times. Let's demonstrate that. And so for the pocket, comes along, there's just a big enough ramp right there on the pocket clip that it grabs easily and comes in. Sometimes those screws will pick up and grab the corner of the pocket. When I'm actually wearing my pants, it's much less of a concern than when I'm doing it on this horizontal table. You know, I'm sitting over there and it's just awkward this way. And so it tends to catch more so than when I'm actually wearing the pants. And as you can see, you know, the second time went through very well. Those two times it caught just a tiny bit, but it's no problem at all getting it all the way to the full depth of that pocket clip. And so works very, very well indeed. What are the cons on this knife? Well, I don't know. One of the cons is with the lanyard. I think the lanyard hole, and I've hardly ever said this, but for the size of the knife, I think the lanyard hole would be better if it was just a little bit smaller. I mean, 550 paracord has no problem at all getting in that hole, so they could have made the hole a little bit smaller. The placement of the hole, I don't really like it that much because your paracord, if you're going to use a paracord lanyard, it's going to bunch up right back there, and that's still in my hand here because it's a short knife. And so I don't like a lanyard on here at all. So if you're a person who likes a lanyard and you've got, you know, large or larger hands, you might not like paracord wrapped in there and making a big bump. But that's all personal taste, so I can only tell you what I think of it for myself. Now, let's refocus this. To demonstrate, it's just flips very easily. You don't have to do much pressure at all, and it just flies open. But it's not loud or aggressive. So if you are wanting to use this in an office, I don't think it's going to create too much of an uproar. It does have that Bowie styling, which some people are afraid of, but not too big a deal. Being a full flat grind makes it an awesome slicer. So if you want to cut some fruit up at your desk, you know, I think this kind of knife is very good for that kind of task. And it just looks really good. Works just fine in my left or right hands. I think most of you can get comfortable with that too. It's a locking knife under 3 inches. So if you've got the 3-inch rules where you live, you know, this knife is shorter than that. So there you go. This is my Wee Wednesday review. I know this knife isn't really a wee little knife. I use the word wee with 2 E's as in small. I like to review small knives. But since I couldn't review this guy right now because I don't know anybody that sells it, I had to review this guy. And I don't have any other small knives coming in right now, I don't think. So next Wednesday might not have a small review. I know I've got a series of how-to kind of stuff or information on blades that I've interrupted that series. I'm sorry about how I've had much less videos, not much less. I've had about a third less videos in the last couple of weeks, and I like doing reviews the most, and that's why that series got interrupted. But I will get back and do some more videos on blade information, the basics about knives, and I'll get some more of those videos out to you fairly soon. probably just one of them by the end of April. And just for an FYI. So here's this knife, the Tangram AMARILLO. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Very helpful. I appreciate it. And to everyone else, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Maybe to Patreon supporters too. You can do those things. And remember, everybody, it's always best to cut towards your chum, not your thumb.